So when difficult feelings and thoughts arise within us, feelings that feel tight or sharp or edgy or tense, thoughts that feel hostile, negative, menacing, kind of deliberately distracting, I think one helpful framing of that is to just see it as an inner child throwing a tantrum for attention, an inner child acting out to try to get your attention. And I think what that can do is take a little bit of the fright or the menace out of it and put it in a perspective that's A, more in line with what it really is, and B, sets you up to have a more successful and skillful approach to it. And so then if we've accepted that framing, we've said, okay, these feelings that are arising and are hurting right now that I don't want to have happening, they're distracting, they're overwhelming, they're painful, they're difficult. Same things with those thoughts. We've said, okay, I'm going to treat these as the acts of an inner child that's upset, that's afraid, that's frustrated, and is acting out. So I think this is an opportunity to ask ourselves, why does a child act out, and what is that child looking for? And I think generally what we know is the child's acting out because they're looking for love and attention. They're looking for someone to attend to them, to help them feel better, to calm them if they're feeling stressed, and really just to give them the attention and to kind of hold space for them so that they can then go through the process of self-soothing. I think sometimes as adults we maybe want to be a little more heroic and kind of swoop in and fix the child's issues. And of course sometimes that's a merciful thing to do. But I think, kind of the giving a person a fish, teaching a person to fish model, the healthier, more mature, more sustainable approach is to essentially hold space, kind of neutralize the negative energy in the moment, and then essentially give the child the space and kind of the vibe they need to calm themselves down. And so that they can then develop that skill on their own and no longer be dependent on the parent in order to achieve the state of calm. And what I think is helpful for this exercise, when you're dealing with these negative energies, you've reframed them as a child that's acting out. We've accepted the idea, okay, we're not here to try to fix the child's problem. We're instead trying to create kind of a vibe or an atmosphere to allow the child to resolve the issue themselves. One image you can imagine is picturing yourself with tape over your mouth. And you essentially have the child, but the child is not outside of you, the child's within you. And so the two kind of resources you have to create the vibe you want are the inner gaze that you use and kind of the vibe that you cultivate. And so I think that the technique that's wise would be an inner gaze that's gradually softer and softer, right? More tender, more attentive, more welcoming. And then a vibe that has those same chords to it. Softness, openness, availability, right? And if you want to think about it, right, you wouldn't, if you were with a child who was acting out that way, a wise and healthy approach wouldn't be to be in front of them, but to be like scrolling on your phone. Or it wouldn't be to kind of be huffing and puffing and crossing our arms and saying, okay, are you done yet? Have you gotten through it yet? You're my little one back there. You'd want instead to kind of create a space, a safe space for them to be able to share whatever they want to, but put out whatever energy they need to put out, and then really to give them that space, that safety to then do the inner work themselves and calm themselves down and heal themselves. So the next time negative thoughts or feelings arise, see if you can reframe it as an inner child. Remember that the goal isn't to fix the child's problem, but to create a space so the child can address it themselves. And then we're using our inner gaze and our kind of inner vibe to just create that space with as little insistence as an expectation as we can muster.